How many players in the NBA can do this?
Yuki. Oh, are you kidding me? Yuki Kawamura is doing it again.
Yuki, doing it again. And if that wasn't crazy enough, how many players can do this? Between the legs of rain. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard of Yuki Kawamura, the man who, despite being nearly 2 feet smaller than Victor Wembanyama, was able to dominate and beat France in last year's Olympics. The man who is a wizard with the ball, the most popular basketball player in all of Japan, and Yamaran's right-hand man, or at least he used to be, because after spending last year with the men, Grizzlies, Yuki Kawamura has spent this year's Summer League playing with the Chicago Bulls. And not only has he had more highlight-worthy passes in 5 games than most players have in an entire career, he's had the numbers and impact to back up the highlights, averaging over 10 points, 6 assists, and shooting 42% from 3. And when you look at the impact he's had and the energy he brings to the Bulls, I don't think it's crazy to suggest there's a real chance he could and should play NBA minutes next year. And clearly the Bulls don't think it's crazy either, considering they just signed him to a 2-way contract. And obviously, when talking about Yuki, there is one place to start. It's not his height or his nationality, which are both unique. His most unique trait is his mind-blowing passing ability. MOA hustle. No. Are you serious? Just look at this play where the screen gets set for him. The Pacers defender stunts before recovering, and with Furphy trying to guard the roller, it just doesn't matter, because unless you are glued to your man, Yuki will find a window of space that doesn't even look like it exists. Well, this time, where it's a Senge setting the screen, quickly slipping out of it, and look at Yuki with the perfect pocket pass for Noah to catch and finish. But what's so great about Yuki's playmaking is it's instinctual. Those were obviously more set actions, but just watch here, where his big sees a gap in behind the defense. So he immediately cuts, and while stepping backwards, Yuki puts it right on the money for the lob. And that was just one of many lobs Yuki made during Summer League, and will continue to make if he is given a chance to play NBA minutes. Sitting in the final of. What you'll also see from a lot of these clips is the pace. Yuki is a guy who loves to get out and push the pace. Honestly, there are some similarities to a Ball who was just traded in Lonzo Ball. High-volume 3-point shooters who both love to get out in transition and find athletes running the floor. Now, obviously, Yuki is nearly a foot smaller than Lonzo, but from a vision perspective, he's right up there. And that height clearly, it doesn't impact him when he's seeing over the defense, or seeing around the defense, I should say. And what was really noticeable in these Summer League games was the connection he had with the Bulls' 2 youngest players, Mattis Basilis and Noah Asenge. This right here is why I believe Yuki Kawamura should get minutes for Chicago next year. Because if they want to develop their 2 highest upside players, 2 guys who are both incredibly athletic and thrive in transition, what better way to help than an incredible playmaker who can make their lives so much easier? And I know some people are gonna say, it's just Summer League. None of this means anything. That is true. It's also worth noting that Yuki is only 24 years old. That is younger than Dalton Connects. He is still incredibly young himself. Yet when he was on the floor, he looked like a vet, which isn't a surprise given his experience. And if you think it's only Summer League, last year he put up 12 points and 8 assists a game, shooting 41% from 3 in the G League. Everything we've seen in Summer League, he did last year in the G League, and also did it for Japan in the Olympics. Because if you want to talk about competition, how about averaging 20 and 8 on 40% from 3 on over 10 attempts per game, including a monster performance against the home country and silver medalists, France, with him putting up 29 and 6, even grabbing 7 rebounds, despite being nearly 2 feet smaller than the opposition's best player. So if you think this is purely an overreaction to Summer League, he's been doing this at every level for multiple years now. This is not just a guy who makes fancy passes and is a fun highlight player, given his size. No, he's a legitimately very, very good basketball player. But what will really determine just how far he can go in the NBA is not only his defense, which I will talk about, out, but it's his three-point shooting. At his size, I don't need to tell you, it's hard for him to score at the rim, but he knows that and he makes sure that he is going to live and die by the three. And as I mentioned, he shot 41% from three over an entire G League season, and just shot over 40% during Summer League as well. If he can continue with those kind of numbers in the NBA, that would make him a very, very serviceable backup point guard at the least. Just watch him, where he gives the ball up, gets it back, and he just loses the defender with that quickness before the quick trigger. Or how about here with the jab step and no hesitation with a much bigger defender right in his face. And one thing about his shooting that is really important is the arc he gets on that shot. When he's coming up against defenders that are sometimes 1 feet or even more taller than him, the arc he gets on that shot can be the difference between him getting blocked and him making the shot. And he has become accustomed to taking those difficult threes because that's what his game is built around. Shots that look incredibly difficult for everyone else. That is just what Yuki Kawamura has to do and will continue to do to get on an NBA floor. Now, the other aspect of his game that will obviously need to hold up is his defense. Teams are going to target him, no matter how much effort he puts in, no matter how much energy he plays with. The size will lead to teams targeting him, but he can still make them pay on the other end because his biggest strength has to be his quickness, using that speed and that low center of gravity to strip players of the ball. Just look at him here fighting around that screen from the Pacers' big. And when he doesn't get that steal the first time, he just continues to press, forcing the Pacers player into a backcourt violation. Just look at the tenacity and look at the agility and willingness on that play. He might not have the size, but he definitely has the heart to play defense. Even look at this play. After making a great dime to find a shooter for three, he's immediately full court pressing and pressuring the Pacers ball handler. And this reminds me of what TJ McConnell said. Another guy who was doubted because of his size, he said, "You have to work twice as hard. You have to pick up players full court and pressure them every single possession." And we have seen the kind of career TJ McConnell has had from doing that. Yuki Kawamura is doing that in Summer League, so I can guarantee if he gets on an NBA floor, he will be doing that every single possession of every single game. And these are the kind of players that prove you can succeed in spite of your size if you take advantage of the gifts you have elsewhere. And Yuki Kawamura is a gifted basketball player. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the video and want to see more content like this going forward, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Dropping a like would be cool. Have a great day. Bye.